This is Elsa Sigura. She was convicted of aiding and abetting first-degree murder for calling Monique Baugh to set up a phony house showing so that two men could kidnap the realtor, torture her, and kill her.
She could have been a hero. She could have warned Monique. She could have warned her that showing was fake.
Wanda Williams Baugh, the victim's mother, noted in her victim impact statement at Sigura's sentencing that the defendant, who survived the 35W bridge collapse in her youth and went on to become a probation officer, showed no emotion in her trial. And Sigura was among just a few people in the courtroom with a dry eye when Wanda shared this.
Monique's oldest daughter, Legend, said to me a couple weeks ago, she said that she wants to die. And I said, no, baby, why would you say that? And she said, because I want to see my mommy. And she said, you can bring me flowers. And I knew she was referring to the times that we bring Monique flowers to her grave.
By law, Judge Peter Cahill had to give Sigura a life sentence, just like he gave the two men who actually killed Monique. But he added that Sigura deserves it.
Because you could have stopped this from happening. And so it is not an injustice.
This is Linda Sturmer, a Michigan woman who set her husband, Todd Sturmer, on fire, then drove a van over his burning body.
Our mother murdered our father. She drugged him. She set the house on fire, doused him in gasoline. Then after the fact, when he managed to get out of the house, she ran him over with her van.
Since Todd Sturmer's death nearly 20 years ago, the legal battle spanned an astonishing 18 years, culminating in a dramatic trial that sought to uncover the truth behind Todd's demise. The prosecution painted a grim picture, alleging a cold and calculated plot. Prosecutors alleged Sturmer doused her husband with gasoline and set him on fire in 2007, a day after he learned she was having an extramarital affair. Her lover, who later testified, described a woman unhappy in her marriage and angry with Todd over various issues, including the trading of a van. This affair provided a powerful motive for the prosecution, suggesting a desire to escape her marriage by any means necessary. The battered and burned murder trial unfolded with intense testimony, leading to a pivotal moment in April 2025.
Because nothing I say is really ever going to change. Todd's still going to be gone. Our lives are still never going to feel complete again. The role of him not being here will never be filled. But not speaking or not sharing some of my outrage and pain over his death, not correcting the image that has been painted of Todd, doesn't seem right either. When Linda was let out of prison in 2018, our whole family was in shock. It was incomprehensible to us. These last 6 years that Linda has been out living her life shook my faith in the law and in justice and in all that is right. It's been so hard having to listen to her lies and having her play the victim in this. And every single time I hear her speak, I just think who's checking that? Who knows? Who's paying attention to what is real and what is not real? Because she's lied so much that it's hard to keep straight.
After deliberating, the jury delivered their verdict, guilty.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree felony murder.
Linda Sturmer learned her fate with emotional scenes as the decision was read. The victim's family, after nearly 2 decades, finally saw a verdict handed down, marking a significant step towards closure. In May 2025, the court pronounced Linda Sturmer's sentence.
Murder is by its nature a monstrous deed, but the one you've committed is even more gruesome than most. You lit your husband on fire and burned him alive. When he made it out of the house and you had a chance to reconsider your actions, you instead doubled down and ran him over with your car. I cannot fathom the suffering he endured in his last moments of life. And I cannot fathom the damage you've inflicted on Todd's family, his mother, his siblings, now your grown children, his grown children. You lured them out of the house using one of your many labyrinths of lies. They went to the mall and movie at your request, thinking you'd be discussing divorce details with your victim. And you didn't even allow them to say their customary goodbye to their father before you murdered him. Now they live with not only the murder of their father at the hands of their mother, But the fact that had you not convinced them to leave, you may not have had your window, or at least on that date, to commit your heinous acts. But only a sentence of life without the possibility of parole can protect others from you and deter others from committing like conduct. And only a sentence of life without the possibility of parole can properly punish you for the heinous acts you've committed in burning your husband alive and in leaving your children with that imprint forever.
Described by some as a case involving labyrinths of lies, Linda Sturmer was sentenced to life in prison for her husband's burning death. The long and arduous journey through the justice system concluded with her fate sealed, a stark end to a truly haunting case. This is Monica Simontelli. She cried after the verdict was read, being found guilty in the plot to kill her husband, Fabio Simontelli, a celebrity hairstylist. Jurors also found true the special circumstance allegations of murder for financial gain and murder while lying in wait. Fabio Simontelli was stabbed to death in the backyard of his Woodland Hills home in 2017, and the family saying after 8 long years, they have justice.
Justice was served today. It's the most beautiful day for our family. Our spirits are lifted. My brother can now rest in peace. And the murderers that have deceived him are exactly where they belong today.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Monica Simontelli, guilty of the crime of murder.
Monica Simontelli sobbed after the verdicts were read, guilty for the murder of her late husband and guilty of conspiracy or helping to plan Fabio's murder. On January of 2017, Fabio was found stabbed to death in the backyard of the family's Woodland Hills home. It happened just a few days before the couple's 20th anniversary.
He got up real quick, and he grabbed me, and I'm struggling with him, and I'm trying to get away from him. He's a pretty big guy. Just try to get him off me, and just kept cutting until he stopped, until he got off me.
In the 8 years since the murder, Robert Baker, the man Monica Simontelli was having an affair with, pled no contest back in 2023 to killing Simontelli.
I murdered him because I wanted her. I wanted to have easier access. I wanted her to be around me and with me more, like all the time.
He's serving life without parole.
Are overjoyed that she will spend the rest of her life in jail. No parole.
A third person, Christopher Austin, pled guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for his testimony. He was sentenced to 16 years to life in prison. The jury found her guilty of first-degree murder with special circumstance allegations of financial gain and lying in wait, as well as conspiracy to commit murder. The judge, Ronald S. Cohen, stated that the evidence pointed to her being the mastermind of the crime.
Listening to the evidence in this matter, I do find that the defendant was the mastermind in this conspiracy to commit murder. Baker did not have the intelligence to plan such a brutal, well-thought-out slaughter. The defendant was the prime mover in this execution of a human being, and consequently, in utilizing my discretion, to impose the more serious of the sentences.
Monica Simontelli was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This is Crystal Albrittain. She was charged with first-degree murder in the death of Granby High School student, 17-year-old Asia Kell. She previously pled guilty to the charge, acknowledging her involvement in orchestrating a kidnapping plot meant to keep Asia from testifying as the victim in her own alleged rape case. Prosecutors say that 17-year-old Asia Kell was killed because she did what we'd all want anyone else to do. She was willing to speak up when something happened that wasn't right. And in part because of those circumstances, Judge Gary Mills says he feels a life sentence for 34-year-old Crystal Albrittain is appropriate. It was September 7th, 2020. Prosecutors say that Crystal Albrittain, along with her husband Devin and goddaughter Daya Fear, lured the 17-year-old Granby High School student to their Norfolk home to do hair. But when she arrived, she was duct-taped, gagged, pistol whipped, and put into a box, driven to Newport News, and then shot in the back of the head in the woods. For roughly 2 weeks, her body would sit there. Prosecutors say it was all done in order to keep Asia from testifying in court against her ex-boyfriend, Deja's brother, who was accused of rape. Albritton's defense attorney tried to make the case that because Albrittain pleaded guilty and avoided putting the family through a trial, she is taking responsibility for her actions.
I would like to apologize for my part when I played music. understanding the situation towards the family. If I could take it back, I would. I can't, and I'm sorry.
Crystal Albrittain was sentenced to life in prison. She also received an additional 3 years for a gun charge related to the case, to be served consecutively.
I'm going to thank Jesus for that sentence. I praise him for that sentence because we needed that. They took a wonderful life.
It don't bring her back. It don't bring her back. So to everybody that got like brothers and sisters, you got to cherish the time. But cherish the time that you got with them now, because when they gone, you're going to, see and realize what you had.
This is Anna Marie Jatani. She killed her husband with a kitchen knife, stabbing him 17 times.
I am not guilty of what they're saying that I did in cold blood. I am guilty of defending my life and my children's.
Alfred Jatani, he said he'd waited over 2 years to address 38-year-old Anna Marie Jatani. She'd just been sentenced to prison for killing her husband, Tony Jatani's son.
I do not forgive you for murdering Tony, my son. I curse you for what you have done.
What Jatani had done, according to her statement to police, was stabbing her husband, 29-year-old Tony Jatani, to death. According to the police report, he was stabbed 17 times, 3 times as emergency responders arrived at the couple's Northwest Bexar County home.
I wish terrible things to happen to you in this life. When you die, you should burn in hell forever.
The victim's mother, too, addressed Jatani.
I will all the time pray God that you wrote in your prison cell.
Earlier, the judge had reviewed and accepted the plea bargain.
The court will go ahead and assess your punishment at 25 years in the Texas Department of Correction. Will order a fine of $10,000.
Jatani must serve 1/2 of that 25-year sentence, day for day, before parole is even a consideration. This is Alicia Valdez. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The 21-year-old helped murder a man, Andrew Janicek, as he was simply walking into an Edgewater barbecue restaurant to pick up dinner for his girlfriend.
He was just a good-hearted person. I know everybody says that about their family members, but there was something really special about him.
This photo was the most disturbing one shown in court. Valdez smiling just moments after that murder, and then another photo of her holding that murder weapon. Valdez did not pull the trigger on that gun that killed Andrew Janicek, but she did help plan and orchestrate his murder. She and her husband, 21-year-old Devin Howard, and their friend, 20-year-old Caleb V. Hill, bought a gun to try and make money by robbing innocent victims at gunpoint. And they were specifically looking for someone alone when they stumbled upon Janicek that night. Witnesses testified to seeing the trio shortly after that murder, celebrating and laughing about what they'd done.
Ms. Valdez showed absolutely no remorse and a complete lack of humanity. She showed no sympathy, and in fact, she was probably the most manipulative of the entire crew.
Andrew Janisek's mother sobbed in court as she discussed the loss of her son and just the toll this has had on her entire family. Valdez was convicted of a total of 5 counts, including first-degree murder and several aggravated robbery charges. The judge saying in the courtroom if she would have cooperated from the very beginning, fessed up to what she had done, and given officers information, she might have avoided life in prison without parole. This is Blandine Dumbo. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in a murder and robbery.
No, I did not pull that trigger.
20-year-old Blandine Dumbo is talking about a fatal shooting that occurred at the Northside Motel in 2018. She and 20-year-old Tariq Mike were at the motel planning a car theft and chop shop scheme with another couple, according to police. The plan went bad, they say, and Mike shot 25-year-old Robert Patterson to death.
He's standing over Robert for about 3-4 seconds, and that's when 2 shots went off. And Robert didn't move at all.
She said Mike also shot and seriously wounded Patterson's girlfriend. They then fled in the girlfriend's car.
I was in shock because somebody who I thought was a friend to me, I never thought that he would just mercilessly execute 2 people.
They were later arrested and charged with capital murder. Mike pled guilty to a reduced charge of murder and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Dumbo was charged with aggravated robbery.
It is the order of the court that you be sentenced to 20 years confinement.
During the hearing, Dumbo's mother with an apology that brought her daughter to tears.
I'm sorry I failed you.
Looking back now that I'm not really into grieving, I feel like I could have done more for you.